Hi, I'm attorney Rudy Vasquez. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio, and I practice personal injury. I'm board certified in personal injury, and that includes class action cases. And I just wanted to spend a few minutes with you, to my friends and family, because I know you know this, but there's some cases that a lot of folks are not aware of and what to do if they get a notice about a class action. I personally have gotten several notices on different class actions, whether it's a product that's a medical product or it's even on my vehicle, my car. So let me just go over a couple of questions that I had when I was looking at whether I should join a class or not. First of all, the big question is, when you get a notice of a class action, should you be a member of that class or should you bring your case alone? An experienced attorney can go through that with you. They'll probably, if it's a medical case where there's a medical injury, they'll probably want to order your medical records and have them reviewed first by themselves, and then hire a medical expert, a doctor usually, or a registered nurse who will go through your records, and they have experience in that area, and find out if truly you can state a case for being a part of the class or taking the case alone on your own. The second thing is, when you're trying to figure out whether you should go as a class or alone, is what is the injury? Is this an injury that is truly disabling, or is it something that you can live with? Is it something that's interfering with your quality of life? Those are big questions that you and the lawyer have to talk about and answer in your case. One of the big ones that stops a lot of cases going alone is the cost to prove your case. These class actions, they have a lot of people in them. They can spend a lot of money on their best experts to try to prove their case, and they will all share the expense. If you go alone, then you have to hire your own experts, and a lot of these experts will not work for you alone if they're working for the class, because that incentive is they want you to join that class. So that's another thing. You can outspend more than you think the case is worth, and that goes into the last thing, which is the value range of the case, whether you should go alone or you should go to the class. Every case has a value. It's got a minimum value and a maximum value. It's based on a lot of different things: the effect the injury has, the quality of life you have, what insurance companies are evaluating the case is worth, what the jury is evaluating the case is worth, the chances of success. There's so many different things, I can't even list them all at this time. But every case is different, so you got to think about all those things. Because if the value range of your case is low compared to the cost to prove it, then most likely the best scenario is to go into the class and go ahead and let them incur all the costs, and they will make most of the attorney's fees, and you'll be charged a percentage of the attorney's fees. Now, if you get a value range, in the cases that we've been working with, there'll be different groups of ranges depending on, there might be a class A, which is the most serious, a class B is middle of the road, and a class C is very little. So, there's different groups of classes depending on your injuries, and this is where it's important to get a local attorney to work with you, because I've been able to move a class from a class B to a class A, or a class C to a class B, in other words, just as by example. And so, for example, I have worked personally on evaluating faulty silicone breast implant cases. That's one of the very first cases that I was worked on when I was a very young lawyer. And then secondly, more recently, I've worked in evaluating hip replacement cases, and that's another case that we're still working on right now. One of the other cases that I'm working on is cancer-causing drugs. There's some drugs that actually will cause cancer, and they've actually been recalled and pulled, and the doctors are no longer prescribing those. Those cases we have to consider along with this scenario here to see if they go in a class or we should go with those alone. And also faulty stomach mesh cases. That's another one where they cause fibroids and other problems in people, and some of those are in a class and some of those aren't. So if you have questions about these, this is the things that a lawyer will be looking at when you talk to a lawyer about your possible case, whether you should go alone or in a class. So I hope my friends and my clients enjoyed this, and if you have questions, you're welcome to give me a call. Thanks. God bless.